Hello and welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is CF Claire and let's do a week in the life writing a romance novel. If this is your first video of me, I'm in the middle of working on a very detailed second draft of an outline. I like to go scene by scene. I've been really enjoying the process and it's been getting me really pumped up for writing the book, but there's a lot of still world building issues, plot issues, things I want to work through and feel really good about before I draft. It's a fae dragon romance in a very heavily flavored fantasy sci-fi world. No science, really just magic. Lots of fantasy races. It's really fun. The comp series is Cressley Cole's Immortals After Dark. Let's talk about where I'm at right now. Yesterday, I took a few clips in the morning and then I was going to film like the intro yesterday. And my husband came back from work early and I was like, I can't, I can't record and talk to the camera when my husband's home. I just like can't. It's too weird for me. So instead, here we are. It is the 21st of October, Tuesday, and the goal for this week is the real goal and not the secret goal was to work through my analysis of what I had already done for the second draft of this outline for chapters 28 through to 54. I like to work in using the 8 sequence outlining method. So I think that would bring me somewhere through to like the beginning or middle of my 7th sequence. So like pretty close to the end of the book. The book is 63 chapters in an epilogue. So that's the goal for the week and we'll see how that goes. Yesterday went incredibly well, incredibly well. But what do I mean when I'm like, I'm going to analyze my scene level outline? It's looking at what I had and asking a lot of questions and shooting a lot of holes and being like, is this really the person who's driving the desire line? How much does this person know about this situation at this time? Did I mention yet this plot thing? Or like we need to, by this point, like people need to know about it. So I don't remember where that came in. So it's like making all my notes about it. So sometime around mid-November or so, I'm planning to actually take this analysis that I'm making of what I have and go through and make sure I have all the questions answered. Because when I'm drafting, what I've realized is if there are any questions about what I want to happen in the book, that just holds me up so much. It's such a momentum stopper. And I just need to be able to go full speed ahead. Otherwise, it's not fun for me. And I want it to be fun. At these like we're writing, we're having a good time. We want to do this for a career. Why are we fighting against having fun, you know? So hence the analysis, which is fun for me. Go figure. But so anyways, yesterday went really well. I shot holes in 10 chapters, which was the entire 4th sequence. The thing that was happening with that, why it was going so fast, was very little was changing. There was a couple plot threads that I actually was taking out, and so I had to alter some stuff, but pretty much each chapter was staying the same, just with a little bit of a different context. Whereas now I'm working on the 5th sequence, which is historically one of the hardest ones for me. The 5th and 6th are just like, yikes. And there's quite a bit that's changing about this sequence because I'm realizing I need to really, really focus on the romantic development because now at this point of the book, it's entering the 3rd quarter of the book. They've had all this time, these situations where they've realized things about each other and they're now able to feel things for each other in a way that they weren't allowing themselves before. But there's still like plot reasons why they don't believe things could work out, right? So what I need to do is really ramp up the progressions so that it's a believable romance. So this morning I started working on it. I got up early to work on it and I did 2 chapters, and one of them I needed to really focus on what the actual actionable change was because it had really been focused in that draft of the outline on the reaction to events and them kind of processing things. And I really wanted there to be, I mean, like the whole chapter is just them processing. Like, no, I wanted them to at least come to a decision, if not begin taking action towards that. So that was chapter 36. And then what was going to be chapter 37, I realized as I was looking at it that I had actually accomplished everything that I had written for that chapter in chapter 36. I was like, okay, like we got to just take out that chapter 37 then. And what was going to be the next chapter after that, I was like, wait, but that's the same point of view. And actually, we need to insert like a totally different thing going on. So it was like a lot more complicated. A little more complicated than the fourth sequence has been. And I'm feeling a lot of resistance to just focusing and doing it since it is harder. So, what we're going to do is kind of switch things up. Usually, what I've been doing is I've been using my little analysis table on my laptop where I've got here's the specific achievements that I actually liked about what I already had. And then, like, here's all the opportunities. And then I have a box at the bottom that's like, overall, what's going on with this? Like, has it been a different chapter? Are things moving from somewhere else I had? What's the day? Let's keep track of how many days are going by, as well as kind of just envisioning what the scene is. So, like at the beginning of the chapter, I think there's this situation, and then the bulk of the chapter is probably this situation, and then I want it to end maybe something in this way. And also focusing on something that's new for me, which is looking at a shift in values within the chapter, which I talked about in the last vlog I had. I was getting it from, oh, I don't have it anymore over here. Story by Robert McKee. And I don't know if this is exactly how he's using it because I'm not all the way done with the book. But from my like one time reading a brief section of it, I really liked the idea of looking at what is the value that's at stake in the scene and what is the shift in that value. What keeps coming up in this story is a shift from resolve to temptation, as well as like control to out of control, things like that. So I'm enjoying doing that, and it definitely does help me make sure that there is a major change that's happening. And then I'm also really enjoying having what is the question that this chapter asks and what is the answer it provides. So for instance, like the last chapter I worked on, the question that was helping center that chapter was, will Selena give in to her attraction to the love interest? And the answer was no, but she's very, very tempted. And we're setting the stage for why she's going to make different decisions in other chapters coming in. So I've been really enjoying that, but yeah, I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to do that at all. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to kind of look at what I have, and I'm going to make some voice notes on my phone while I'm walking on the treadmill. And after I do that, hopefully I'll feel a little more inclined to be like, all I have to do is listen to my voice note and type that down. So this is easy, right? Like I can do that. So we're going to see how that goes. As soon as I stopped the video, I was like, you know what has actually helped me a lot with this kind of situation where I need to be focusing on how do I progress from this emotional arc to where I know it needs to be at the end of this point, being the climax of the fifth sequence, which coincides with the plot point of like the reminder of the stakes, using a whiteboard and just kind of plotting where they are at the moment, where they need to end up, and then how many chapters are in between, and okay, what's like a good progression of them getting emotionally, physically closer. So that's what I ended up doing. That was a great idea. That helped a lot. Because I was keeping a lot of the plot events that I already had in the outline for those chapters, but some of the emotional beats weren't even there. And so we needed that physicality going forward. So that was great. So I did that. And then I got on the treadmill and I did do one chapter as a voice memo. And that worked out really well. And then as I was annotating that, I was kind of just getting in the flow of it anyways. So then I kind of just rolled into just typing up the next chapter. So at the moment, we're done with chapter 40. I had 2 more chapters I was hoping to do today, 41 and 42. However, if I also do 43, that's the last chapter in this fifth sequence. And then if I also do my how was the fifth sequence overall from a more bird's eye perspective, then I would be entirely done with a whole sequence in one day, which is what I did yesterday. And wouldn't that feel good? But we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. This is quite a bit more brain work today than yesterday had been. That was really just a lot more clear cut, and this has been a lot more thinking. So it's not good to compare the two, but that's my real goal and my secret goal, my hope. But right now, it is a lot of brain work, and I really need to take a break. So it's 12 o'clock right now, 12:12 to be precise. And I'm gonna go outside. It's a beautiful fall day. I'm gonna enjoy the weather out there and drink some coffee or something. I've been reading Agatha Christie novels, so I just started my third one of hers. I read The Clocks first. Fantastic. Loved it. I don't usually read mystery, and she's definitely the right place to start for me. Her dialogue is incredible, and I just so appreciate her pacing. She's going along, like, things are happening, you're never like, "Wow, what are we doing with this page?" You know? I think that's really cool. And I'll probably check on the greenhouse. The kale I transplanted is doing great. The tomatoes completely died, even though I thought they might have survived that frost from a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and they definitely did not. So I need to cut them down at some point, but the caterpillar situation on the kale I should look into because they love that I put the kale in a greenhouse. They're like, "Ooh, great, a house just for us." Get out. Get out of here. All right, let's go have fun. I just finished chapter 42. I did not want to do those last two chapters, and the only way I motivated myself to do it was because I was like, I promise the only thing that you need to do as far as writing goes for the rest of the day is to just do these two chapters. So, what if you just did them in one time block, 25 minutes, and then you're just done? And technically, that is literally the case, right? Because that had been my goals to just get 42 chapters done up to chapter 42. And then I had my like secret goal of what if I finish even like more. But technically, that was my goal. Somehow, though, just phrasing it as you only have to do 25 more minutes, and if you do it faster, you could just be done. That did it. That helped. What I noticed about the last two chapters is that while there are situations from that outline that I do want to keep, I'm not really sure. They're not necessarily scenes. So I was just writing a bunch of questions about like who is wanting something at this time, where are they in their emotional arcs, what information needs to be relayed, how can we set this up to make more sense than just here's something happening that's cute. So I didn't come up with the answers, but I asked a lot of questions to hopefully help to get an answer when I come back to this in November. It's 2:15. I gotta get in the car and go wait in the pickup line to get the kids.
Mealtime. This is way better than being chased by a gorilla.
It's another exciting Wednesday. We get to go to karate after I pick up the kids. But as you saw, I tried to do a little bit of work in the car this morning in the drop off line. And who knows? I don't know anything about computers. Why can you not have anything come out when you're typing? Like, what's going on? It happens sometimes, and then all you have to do is refresh the page. But obviously, if I refresh the page and I'm not hooked up to the internet, it doesn't work. Anyways, the moral of the story is that if you have a couple minutes, and you're able to get into the right mind frame, you can have great progress. So even though I only had 10 minutes to actually work on stuff while in the car, listening to the songs the kids want to listen to as we're waiting, because they get to pick a couple songs each, and we kind of go back and forth as we're waiting in the drop off line. So they're enjoying that. I'm tuning out the songs. I'm like, okay, let's try to do this fifth sequence analysis. And I had a breakthrough. So that's great. There's a certain plot thing that needs to happen. And for a while, I've kind of been like, I don't know what their plan is to actually achieve that. I know what happens, but that's not what they're planning to have happen. And I got an idea for what that would be. That would be really fun. So that's great. And then when we came home, I typed up my notes, and then I spent another hour working further on getting the rest of the notes for that sequence. And I'm feeling really, really good about it. So even though the chapters for that section feel a lot weaker in comparison to other sequences, with all of my notes and my questions that I've made, I'm feeling really good about it, and I think things will come together a lot better in November. And I have 5 chapters I was hoping to still make my analysis on, from 45 up to 49. So we'll see if that can happen. It's about 11:15 right now. I need to go get some coffee, and we're going to see if we can kind of lock in. I was skimming the next chapters, and it's the 6th sequence, which is the actual hardest for me. And as I was looking through it, I was like, okay, I can already see that the first chapter that I have is mostly just reaction to what happened at the end of the last chapter. And we need to be moving along. So there's going to be a lot of things moving. So it's okay if I don't do all 5 of those chapters. What we're going to do is we're going to get coffee, we're going to clean up the whiteboard, and we're going to do the method that seems to just help me with this sort of problem where I need to see where's the beginning, where's the end point, what can we, process. So we're going to use the whiteboard for that and see if that really helps. And maybe we'll use that in conjunction with the taking voice memos about it as I'm walking, because I haven't walked it all today. So we'll see how it fits together. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling like I don't want to do the 6th sequence. I have resistance for it again, but I'm feeling so good from what I did with the sequence 5 analysis that it's okay. I think it's okay to not like the entire process of things that you're doing, and to still prioritize it. If you know that you're mentally and emotionally capable of it, it's not too big of an ask. It's just more of an ask than you would like, and it's easier and nicer to say no. I do think that saying yes instead is fine, even if you're not enjoying it in the moment. Because as I'm thinking about, oh man, this is going to be hard, and I'm going to have to think about all this stuff, the end of the sequence is thrilling. So getting to the end will be its own sort of reward. And then the last 2 sequences of the book, the whole last quarter, I just thoroughly loved everything happening and all the things being tied up. So it's like, yeah, it's okay that I don't like these chapters coming up. We're going to find, all I'm doing is being like, what's going on here? Can we do this better? So it's okay. It's actually fine. So I'm going to go get some coffee, and we're going to figure it all out.
I do have one question. How many people did you bring in the party? Why was no one talking? I have a question too. Why are you still drinking that stuff?
It is the 23rd. It's just about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I've been working just on my 6th sequence analysis. And there's a lot of things coming up that are more specifically world building right now than necessarily about the plot events. There's just a lot of things that I hadn't clarified, and it feels like at this point in the book, it's necessary to know how does this world work in these ways. So it's taken kind of a while to gather all of my thoughts about it. But it's good. It's good to have all of these questions to think about. And I don't intend that I like need to have literally all of the answers before I start drafting, but all of the answers that are going to affect how I want the plot to play out. So I started doing a bunch of the world building questions that were coming up as I was looking through the chapters. And I only looked at summarizing some of the stuff from the 45th chapter, which is the first chapter of the sixth sequence. And already I'm like, I think this conversation where they're going to learn a lot of this information, I think the context of that has to change because I think they would have made a different decision about how to present themselves at this place that they're going to because of the political climate that's going on right now in this location. So yeah, it's good. It's good to go through. I want to finish my sixth sequence analysis and then also look at the third quarter as a whole, how I feel like that went structurally. And there's some really big questions that I just don't know the answer to as far as like how much of the main character's plan has she at this point been forced to make public to the love interest, because I I had that she was pretty open about it at a certain point earlier in the book. And I don't think she could have possibly been that open because at this stage he needs to believe some other stuff about her and he wouldn't if he knew that was going on. So let's clarify, at what stage does everyone know this stuff? So what did she tell him instead? So I'm hoping to do that stuff and then also, if possible, analyze the first three chapters of the seventh sequence. So that would be up to chapter 53. So we'll see how it goes. We've got a lot of laundry we need to get through, so I need to go put a new load of laundry in. I'm getting a little annoyed sitting and typing, so I think after I do the laundry, I'll come back and I'll do some walking and typing. I just started another load of laundry, and totally unrelated, but I just remembered this very funny thing my daughter said this morning. So I really enjoy astrology, right? Like I don't get caught up in it. Like, it's not that I believe it's true necessarily, but I think it's very interesting. And sometimes my daughter, who is an almost 7-year-old Scorpio, says the most Scorpio things that it is just so funny. For instance, this morning, I had gotten out a new sponge and I was washing her water bottle. And so she was watching me and she was like, I want to be a cleaner when I grow up. It's so satisfying. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And she was like, but not for dishes. I want to clean gravestones. What? Okay, I finished my third quarter analysis. I'm feeling really good about all of the questions that I've come up with. I think it's a good consolidation of what really needs to be focused on. It's a funny situation because I think for the third quarter, I've got really good bones for the emotional arc and the relationship arc and some large question marks about some specifics that are question marks right now about what they're telling each other their goals are and their plans and methods for achieving those goals. So there's some thinking to be done there. Definitely having the map of this other side of the magic rift where they're going at this time will be good. That will solve a lot of the question. It's just becoming very clear that I need to have a better understanding of the history of that side of the galaxy in order to understand exactly what this political environment is that they're going into, because the second and third books in this mini-series are going to be in a similar area, and so I need to make sure that the history supports not just this book, but what I want to be doing with the other two books. And I also have some other books further down the line that I want to do in this area, so I need to make sure I'm supporting all of that stuff. But it's 1 o'clock, and I haven't done the 3 chapters that I wanted to do today. So it's the first 3 chapters of that 7th sequence. and I just can't work at the house anymore. I had a wall here. So it's a beautiful fall day. I'm gonna go to the state park and hang out there and do some more work and then wait in the pickup line. Tonight is the kindergarten open house for my son, so it's gonna be a little bit of a funny night. I'm hoping to, yeah, do those 3 chapters and then maybe I could just do some more reading. I'm loving that Agatha Christie book. It's The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. It's so fun. It's so fun. So, all right, let's get out of here. That went really well. I did do those 3 chapters, but I had to frame it in a different way because I usually frame things as I hope in this time block I get, X chapter done. And I knew that I really wanted to get all 3 chapters done. And I did not want to spend more than one time block, 25 minutes doing it. So instead I gamified it and I was like, I'm only working for 25 minutes and then I get to read my book. So am I going to get first place, second place, or third place in this 25-minute chunk? First place is if I do all 3 chapters. And that works. I don't know. Just changing up the way you frame things. So yeah, I did all 3 chapters. I won first place. And now I gotta wait in the pickup line. It's Friday, the 24th. Almost 10 o'clock. The garbage truck's going by. Today is not the best morning of my life, and that's okay. I feel like the garbage truck going by right now is a pretty good metaphor. Truly, nothing's actually going on except that I made the mistake of liking a couple of political posts on Instagram Reels last night when I was like, I'm ready to unwind. And so then obviously it started showing me nothing but political posts. What are we doing living in this world? So that was not the relaxing escape that I was looking for before bed. So I'm a little bit down this morning, as well as I didn't sleep very well last night. And I usually take over the counter sleeping medicine, and I ran out of that like 2 weeks ago. And it's this inconvenient trip. I have to go to this other grocery store that is just like out of the way. So I just hadn't done it. And so I slept poorly. And apparently, even though I've had so many years of just functioning on way less sleep and feeling way worse than I do this morning, I guess I had been okay. Incredible. I wasn't sure I would ever get there, but I guess I did get used to getting enough sleep because today I'm really feeling it. So that's a huge silver lining. Apparently, I had been fine. Yeah, and then anyway, it's just a series of events where, I mean, if you were looking for reasons to be grumpy in a day and be like, well, whatever, I'm just not gonna do blah, blah, blah. The reasons are all there. Not that I want to do that. It's what's that quote? It's like, yeah, okay, so I couldn't remember the exact quote, but here it is. So holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So what am I'm not going to try to hold on to this stuff. I'm going to try to let it go. So not who else actually literally cares. It doesn't matter. But I'm struggling a little bit. So I decided to give myself a little bit of grace and a little bit of motivation, sort of which would you prefer today? Do you want the grace or do you want the motivation? So I do have 6 chapters that I had been hoping to do today. And that feels like a big ask because I had this whole plan for how I was going to lay things out because it feels really hard to write in the house today for some reason. But, anyways, that wasn't able to work. So, if I do find a way to do all 6 chapters that I had been wanting to do, then I'm going to let myself also record a video reading over the first draft of my Project Conjure, my middle grade fantasy novel that I finished beginning of August, I think. And I really haven't looked at it. And I really want to look at it. But I also really want to give it that how do I feel about each chapter star rating and then vaguely talking about pros and cons within it, which I did for Project Chance, my shifter contemporary story that I'd been working on before Project Goblin. So I really want to do that because I enjoy that so much. So it's really a reward. It's really a treat. I had not been letting myself do it because it takes a while to do it, and I really wanted to focus on, making progress in this stuff. So if I do all 6 chapters, I get to make that video. I want that. But if it feels like actually I need to be a little bit kinder to myself, then as long as I finish at least 4 chapters, I'm going to let myself at least have the reward of, okay, just finish reading that Hercule Poirot mystery, the Agatha Christie thing, and just take it easy, whatever. So I really do want to do the 6 chapters though, because I want to do that video, but also today's Friday, tomorrow's the weekend, and my husband has the whole week off next week. He took it off for a mini vacation so that we could have some time together and do things as a couple while the kids are in school because we really just have barely had any time together without kids, since we had our daughter. I mean, shortly after we were married. So Halloween is our 7th anniversary. We first started dating on Halloween as well as got married on a different Halloween. And so I purposefully did not make any at all writing goals for that whole week next week because I know myself, and if I have even the smallest goal, I won't be able to focus on anything except making sure I at least get that goal before doing anything else. But obviously, I'm also extremely close to being done with this analysis of Project Goblin, so I clearly want to do that and just be done with it. So the more chapters I do before I'm not supposed to work on writing, the better. Not that I won't write. It's just I know myself. If I make literally any goals, I will hyper obsess focus on it. I do fully intend to finish it sometime during the next 9 days. All this long-winded thing to say, today is not the greatest, but we're still gonna make it be the best we can. So, I've been working on the 7th sequence. I had started the first 3 chapters of that yesterday at the state park, and it doesn't look like there's that much that needs to be changed, which is great. So the analysis, I think, is really going to focus more on factualness, as in, did this actually happen already? How much of this did the other person know? Were they pretending they didn't know it in a different chapter, or did they literally not know it? And so at what point did they learn it? Things like that. Hopefully, it will not be as difficult. I have still been factoring that each chapter would take about 25 minutes to do it. Obviously, I did 3 chapters in one time block yesterday, so like I don't know. Even if I do the 6 chapters, is there any way that it would be somewhat less than 6 time blocks? Because that would be fantastic. Okay, it's 1:45. I finished my 7th sequence analysis. I'm feeling really good about it. It looks like it's gonna need the least work so far, so that's thrilling. I did take a break in the middle of the day, and I went on social media again. Who learns their lesson? Not me. And man, it is so depressing. So instead of spiraling, I am trying to think, what can I do specifically right now? So there's 2 things that I did that are making me feel a little bit better about myself. I went to the No Kings website. I'm in America, Massachusetts. And I was like, okay, is there a protest coming up? Can I participate in that? At the moment, there's not. I'm gonna, I don't know, try to keep better tabs on when those protests are happening. I would like to be a part of them. I've seen a couple of them in my area and I just didn't know about them in time. Whatever. You can make a lot of excuses. But it is important to me, and I think I would really like to participate in whatever the next one is. So there's that. And then I also went to my city's website. There's an election on the 4th of November. And what I need to do is actually look up all of these people who are running so that I can get involved because I would really like to get involved in local politics and know who I'm voting for and show up and vote locally and not just for the president. The older I get, the more I realize how important all of these positions are, even though I don't understand any of them. So, my homework for the next couple days, because it's the 24th of October right now, the election is on November 4th. My homework is to learn what specifically does a mayor do, and a counselor at large, and a counselor of different wards. Like, I don't know what that means. And school committee members. What are those positions? What are they in charge of? And then I want to look up all of the people running so I can get a feel for what their actual politics are, so I can know who I'm voting for. And I can feel at least a little bit better, about my involvement with politics. So, I don't know. If you're American, I would also encourage you to look up your local politics stuff and see what's going on in local elections and how you can contribute to that. If you're not American, congratulations. That's great. And that's all she wrote. I'm pretty happy with the progress I made. I'll flip the camera in a minute so you can see the Kanban board. I'm really enjoying having all of these world building questions really pulled to the front before I actually even start writing. And I'm really glad that a lot of this stuff is literally series world building. And I'm not going to need to do quite this much for each other book, because I mean, obviously, some of it has been how far away are these planets from each other, and I'll know that next time. So I've been finding that really helpful and feeling pretty good. Last weekend, I had mentioned that I was hoping to do some fall crafts with the kids, and that didn't end up happening. We did other fun family stuff instead, some spur of the moment stuff. I ordered a couple things that are going to be coming today, and then sometime over the course of the week, we will do some really fun craft stuff. I've been looking at a lot of embroidery things on Pinterest. Let me show you what I'm working on right now. I'm really just practicing my stitches. What I want is to be one of those people who has a bucket, a very naturalistic, Waldorfy style home decor that I take out seasonally. And so, wouldn't that be fun if I had felt leaf garland stuff to put over the mantelpiece by the fire? And so, this is my first attempt. I wish I hadn't done this stitch in the middle of the leaf. I wish I'd done, the little dotty things. But anyways, I'm practicing my stitches. I'm just having a good time. Definitely let me know if you have anything that you're excited about this fall, or if you're watching this at a different time of year, whatever you are excited about at whatever time of year it is. I would love to hear about it. Do you have any seasonal decor that you use? I love looking at all the Pinterest stuff, and I am a minimalist at heart because I am home all the time and I have to tidy up after. mm, like, we need less to tidy up. But there is something very, very fun and cozy and nice about having seasonal decor. So if you have any, what's your favorite seasonal decor item you have? I hope life's going well. I hope your writing is going well, and I will see you in the next one.